Alright, so the last thing that happened is you guys made it into the fortress, and you're disembarking the chimeras and unloading supplies, and you want to take stock of how many men are in the fortress and everything.
Yeah,
Right.
we're looking for some kind of commanding officer so we can obtain command of the fortification. Or assume command, I guess I should say. Is Ice here?
Yeah, I am here. What do you want?
My character's pretty banged up as well.
Yeah, you guys all need medical attention.
Well, mainly me. I think everyone else is pretty okay-ish. Hojo, you got banged up a little, didn't you?
Pretty sure everyone got banged up.
Yeah,
I'm down to 11 health. Or 11 wounds, rather.
I got 16 wounds.
But ideally,
I'm locked, cocked, ready to rock.
the most immediate thing for us, I think, would be to get in touch with the commanding officer, assume command, and take stock of everything that we have. Though it wouldn't be the commanding officer that could give us supply check on the convoy. It would be either Fellhammer's character or Castian, I should say, or the overseer who's for the two penal legions.
You got 2 overseers, which is equivalent rank colonel.
Okay, yeah, so they might be able to give us a supply of the chimeras inside and out. We'd need a commanding officer, I guess, to get in touch, well, to take stock of the rest of the depot.
Alright, as the men are hurriedly unloading the chimeras and falling into ranks under the direction of the overseers, you see a commissar giving directions and running up, trying to ascertain what supplies have made it into the base. And you know that the fortress is under the command of Castilian, but you don't know Castilian's name. You are at the western entrance of the fortress, and in what appears to be like kind of an open area with a wide road for Imperial vehicles to traverse.
Okay, so the western end of the fort. Is there any sort of main road structure of the fort?
Yeah, you're standing on it.
Okay.
If you were to drive down, if you were to go down it, you would reach the what you can see as like the what looks like a vehicle depot or garage of some kind.
So Zaros kind of slumps over to the commissar and starts to strike up a conversation with him. Commissar, the Emperor protect. What else did you bring to us?
Greetings, Space Marines. Truly, the Emperor is with us this day. We didn't think that any support was coming.
Well, Commissar, the Emperor has sent us.
The watch is never far from trouble.
Let us hope that we will be enough. Commissar, we will be taking command of this fortification. We will need an immediate stock check. We'll need to know what we have, and if we have enough, mayhaps we might just see the morning. Let alone the end of this green horde.
Well, it's imperative that the war boss dies and that this horde is broken up. And I assume to that end, that is why you have been sent. Once that's accomplished and the orcs have been driven off, hopefully, Emperor willing, the Imperial Guard will be able to make a push back up to our position without having to suffer any more casualties.
The Greenskins often do scatter when the biggest of them is dispatched. So when that day comes, or when that time comes, you will regain control of your fortification, but until then, assume it is under our control. I'm sure you have no objections.
He kind of looks side to side and says, well, you'd have to ask the Castilian about that. I'm merely an advisor and spiritual guide for the troops.
I'd assume that was the... My bad.
And where may we find this Castilian?
The Castilian is located in the Redemption Pattern Fortress at the heart of the fortification.
Well, Commissar, we will go meet with him shortly. If you can tell him to expect us. In the meantime, if you can take a full stock of everything that's left in the fortification and have that sent to us as fast as you can. Is there any medical aid we may be able to source in this fortification, Commissar? As you can see, some of us have taken a little bit of a few heavy hits. And it's a sad thing to leave the Emperor's armor in such condition.
It's an odd thing to ask a commissar now that I think about it.
He quickly consults a data slate that he pulls out of his back pocket and points, tapping on it to let everyone know to get your request in order. And points to the south of the fortification to some structures you can see about 150 yards away from you.
Now, you said we're in an open area, basically a sort of highway in the fortress.
Yeah, you came through the western gate. The gate is big enough to allow a Baneblade.
Oh shit!
And
yeah.
At the central fortress, how many main roads are leading from the central fortress to the outside walls? Is this fortress dead in the center with 4 walls that can be attacked, or is it flanked on one side by a cliff or a hill, or is it just flat ground?
The fortress is oval shaped. It's surrounded by a perimeter wall. It's flat. What do they call it? Do they call it concrete in Warhammer?
Rockcrete.
Rockcrete, yeah. It's basically a flat rockcrete slab through the entire perimeter with structures set up along the southern wall and a mainly open depot. You can see what looks to be like large circular markings along the ground away from the vehicles. They have the symbol for Promethium marked on their top. This is also a fuel depot.
Interesting. How big a fuel depot?
Big enough to keep the war machine of the Empyrean turning in an active combat zone.
Okay, there's an option there for future consideration, depending how the rest of this evening goes. And how many main roads did you say were coming in and out of the main fortress towards the outside walls?
There's only the gate that you're next to and the gate on the eastern wall. You're by the western gate. There is
Arvek, how many wins did you sustain?
I'm pretty sure I took 5. I have to look real quick.
Okay. And we're near the western wall just now. Well, we're talking with,
Yeah, I took 5.
While we're talking with the Commissar and the Penal Legions, you could maybe use your jump pack and jump up to the wall and see if we can take a quick perception test and see if you can find anything. If you
Sounds like a
want to.
good idea. Sounds like a good idea. I'll do that. Like to see what kind of orcs there are.
Yeah, just anything that stands out.
Should I roll a perception test then?
Let's see if you can first, I guess.
A hell of a lot of green.
It was not necessarily on the orcs, but just anything in particular. Maybe weak spots in the wall, just general curious sort of scout around the perimeter from what you can see at the wall, I guess, while we're talking. Something else to do to fill up the time as we could take stock, I guess.
There's a troop direction going on. Orders we don't know about. Well, okay.
And Hojo, you seem to quite like the Penal Legion, so you might want to go check the stock that they have. Find the Overseer, and unless Felhammer wants to do it, it's either of you. Fair. See if we can spend our time a little bit wisely. We need to get as much done in a short period of time, not because we don't have long tonight, but more just because I'd like to get stock of everything before the next push comes.
And also because we don't have long tonight.
Yeah, that too, but more the time of the Horde I think is more pressing. We still want to try and see if we can get set up and defend.
I rode down with him, so I might know who best to talk to find
So then I will
the
follow.
munitions lists.
I will follow Castian and see he goes off to talk to any of the overseers. See how many of them are still alive.
All right, this base is approximately like 250 meters by 1,000 meters by, and then the eastern end is 450 meters. Giant, long oval. So you guys are heading to the southern wall to investigate the buildings and find someone to talk to?
Oh, that's probably going to be Saint's departure.
Yeah, he's looking for the sign of any kind of hospitaler.
Castian and I are trying to look for the Penal Legion overseers to see how many of them are still alive and what they have left, and the usual status. Arvek is climbing the walls to see if he can get a good look around. Did a perception test and rolled a 4 on it, so if there's any details he wants in particular.
Unless we lost more, our Penal Legion is 74 men lost of 300. So 226 we have left. However, I'll be looking for that pilot. He might be joining them and putting that number up.
You fucking leave the pilot alone. He doesn't like you anymore.
Hate to burst your bubble, he's not in your chain of command. You can't do anything to him.
Are you fucking kidding me? He's a traitor.
Can't do anything to the pilot. You can't even assume control of this fortress. You can request.
What do you mean we can't assume control of the fortress? We're Space Marines.
Is that how it fucking works?
Well,
You're still in the Imperial chain of command.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deathwatch. This is bullshit.
No. Gain 1 point of corruption.
Oh my god. What a day. Fucking take your point of corruption.
That's what's gonna happen.
Just letting you know. Not you, Havel, because you did the right thing. But saying points of corruption are when you forget to be a Space Marine.
Sounds like these motherfuckers have forgotten how to be Imperial Guard.
Oh.
Forgotten
Don't do
how
it,
to chain
Havel.
of command.
We're here to protect them. But we can't protect them if Their inferior command structure.
Is this not the Imperium of Man?
It is, and we're Space Marine.
We serve the Imperium of Man.
I should have sent me to go talk with him. I don't mind corruption. It's too late now, I guess.
Well, we'll see what happens. Things might get a little crazy, we don't know.
You gonna push him out a window?
I don't know what I'm
Work
gonna do
with it,
yet,
man.
okay? I don't know yet. I don't know, it could be anything.
Please, just work with it, man.
I'm trying to! Cousins, I'm making us all killed. I apologize in advance.
Give him a last gun and throw him on the front lines, but don't throw him out the damn window.
I will open these gates to that green horde. But we're not crossing that bridge yet. We're still a ways from that bridge. So I guess I'm heading south towards the medical area. Just to recap, I was checking out the wall from where we were, the west side I believe, to see if you could see anything about stuff. I let him go more into detail about what he's actually looking for up there. And Felhammer and Hojo Castian and Radagast went to talk to the overseers.
Alright, the Overseers are fairly close. They're still by the Chimeras, organizing their men and their guards, for lack of a better word, and the penal battalions, waiting to be dispatched to the defenses.
And I assume they're going to have a manifest of all the supplies they brought that they can just send us from digitally.
Yeah.
As well as what was in the one Chimera we lost.
That would be.
So after we talk to him and get that information, we'll head back towards where Saint was going.
Alright.
And Theros is kind of just slowly trudging down the south road, I guess.
Yeah, Ice, what were you looking for again?
I was just kind of like on the walls, seeing if there was anything like wrong with our walls, or if there's anything interesting going on with the orcs. If they had any surprises.
The walls seem to be mostly intact. One of the guns on the north-facing wall seems to be knocked out and smoking, but otherwise these defenses seem to be intact. The orcs haven't made their push yet.
He actually rolled a perception test, and it rolled pretty good. He rolled a 4 of a D100.
Alright. You can see that it was probably large caliber slug ordnance that took out that gun from a long ways away. I'm guessing you can't see anything close enough to the wall that made that mark. And you can tell that the orcs outside seem to be gearing up for something because they're driving faster and faster around the perimeters of the walls, screaming and gibbering, and their orcish loud music playing.
Sounds like my neighbors.
Arvik yells down to like the rest of the group that we need to prepare. The orcs are going to be coming soon.
Theros shouts up while still walking south. Did you see anything of interest, brother?
Just the orcs seem to be getting rowdier.
Castian asks why they're yelling at each other when we have a box.
Just ignore them, Castian. Let them have their fun.
The picture I linked in Deathwatch is what the gun emplacements look like. There are about 20 of those guns ringed around the wall.
Hatches.
Nice.
Arvik, how did the wall look?
It looks fine. There's a there's some damage to some of the guns, but overall, it is usable.
Just the guns, okay.
Scaring the hell out of the penal battalion. All the yelling for no reason.
Then Arvik will now continue to go to the What is it? The south, where the medical thing is.
If anyone else needs medical attention, you might want to come our way once you've got all your details.
You know, I cannot find the name of the overseers. Found the Inquisitor and the Admiral.
What are you trying to find?
Name of the overseers. The ones that Castian
Lucius and Kern.
Oh.
You can see them. You don't need to find them. They came into the fortress with you. They're next to you. Pretty much. I'm assuming you approach them. And
Nice.
you've requested a manifest of the supplies.
I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to get my words together. But yeah, go ahead.
Yes, that's what we did.
Yeah. I was just following Castian at that point. Oh, what is that? I can't actually see that. Oh, that
Fortress
is tiny.
Redemption.
It's a redemption pattern fortress. There's also along the southern wall at the other end. You can see it sticking up over the other buildings.
That's a tiny, tiny variant of it.
It's just a tiny picture.
I want to find more glasses.
Find a better picture. Okay, so you ask for the manifest. He starts typing on his data pad and sends it over to you, saying, "Yes, my lord." You can see that there are medical supplies packed in. They were supposed to be packed into 2 of the 6 chimeras. Las gun, ammunition, and foodstuffs. And the rest with some machine parts and things like that. But nothing of any great import, just stuff that the penal troops are going to need and that the troops holding the fortress are going to need.
Did they send re-equipment for the Deathwatch that they knew were here?
But
That sounds like something that's gonna need a roll.
yeah, I'll let you guys. I'll let you roll for that if you want. Oh, nice. Yeah, they did.
Oh,
They All right, you're good. I just rolled the d6 just so you know it's not the one that got blown up. He walks you over to one of the lead chimeras and taps on the back hatch. The guardsman opens it up. Inside there are 4 cases of grenades and many bolter rounds. Let's do something fun. Ojo, were you trying to compile a list of the weapons in Deathwatch?
I was. What's up?
Do you have your spreadsheet, or?
I haven't been able to work on it, but yeah.
Alright, never mind. I'll just use the errata.
Okay. What were you looking for? Oh god, I know what you're doing there.
It's going to randomize what's in there.
Oh man, I wish I worked on it. Got some useless items in there too, just in case. Well, if you still want the spreadsheet, I have all the range stuff in there, but the melee stuff I don't. And also, it looks ugly near the end bit of it.
All right, if you all want to roll a D100.
What?
It's falling asleep, my man.
What am I doing?
Roll a D100.
Roll a D100.
I got a 50.
Oh.
What was that roll for? Is that healing?
We're seeing
No.
what kind of equipment is available to us.
We got lucky, and inside the lead Chimera, there was something in there for the Deathwatch for us to use.
So, put your rolls in Discord.
Wait, Havel is in roll D20.
Ah, so yeah, sorry.
Yeah, he's in both.
It might be easier for him to see. There we go. Silence.
Numbers are happening, man.
Radagast, are you going to replace your grenades while we're here and they are available?
I sure hope so. I sure will do so. As soon as possible.
And you got 6 cases of grenades. I already said that, so you can put them wherever you want.
I'm going to blow myself up.
Drops an entire case of grenades at his feet.
I'm just gonna...
What? They're frags.
Yeah. What's your point?
They can be used for many things. Traps. Blowing up fuel silos.
Promethium triggers.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have to do that so the fortification can fight on easier, but if it comes to it.
Let me fill up my mag belt with them. It's just 8. I'll take 8. Maybe that's unreasonable. I'll take 6. But yeah, let's let Havel do his rolls. We're running out of time.
That looks nice.
Oh my god.
Dibs.
Yeah, it's probably better if you take it. 5 rounds. 5 rounds. They could be anything. Boy, if they're frags, you guys are gonna start seeing some bullshit.
But if they're cracked, the Warlord could start seeing some bullshit.
They're crack rounds. Remember, you're fighting mechanized orcs.
Oh.
Fuck me.
You have a plasma rifle.
Still.
It'll be okay. Mega knobs aren't that tough. Nothing is that tough.
Depends how many there are. If there's more than 5 of them, then they are.
Whoa! Holy crap! Okay, he's giving us items per the individual. Because that's a low roll right there. That's full auto. And attack. Good lord. I need a train. That's a relic, by the way.
So I can take care of it.
Goodness gracious. And now to forego the other weapon in your hand for another chainsword.
Is that better? Do you think than a bolt pistol?
I have no idea. I just figured that's what you'd do.
Since they force resupply on ammo.
Basically ready for full conflict. At least one more.
Well, with
Maybe
those
not an
Promethean
extended one.
tanks, that heavy flamer almost has infinite ammo.
Just about.
Keep pumping, Chapter Surf. It has made its way
Saint
by
will-
this time.
Oh
To-
boy.
Saint will assign the pilot to do that. You pump.
Or you die.
Or we all die.
Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 thing.
Yep, and then you got, what did I say, 5 boxes of grenades.
6. I'll forego anything in from that fancy box.
I want that bolter. It's powerful.
Have that.
It's ridiculously powerful. Holy shit.
I believe Fel wanted the armor pen. Well, only Fel can use the heavy flamer.
That's not true.
You got, yeah. Anyone can use the heavy flamer, but you got time for the Orcs attack if you want to, set these within reach. You don't need to be carrying everything all at once.
Oh.
The cases that the weapons are in, with their markings upon them, are also locked, gene coded to Astartes.
They couldn't even get their hands on these if they wanted to. Oh man. Lucian, you did well to keep note of these items. But what other commands are you taking care of now? Whose orders are you following now, and what are they?
So by this time, Saint has made his way over to one of the 2 large Ferrocrete buildings.
Yeah.
I think Hojo was talking to, was it the Overseer?
The Lucian? That's okay. Any details can come after. Yours are kind of more important right now.
So do I see anything of obvious interest? Any characters, any signs which direction I should be taking to get the Castilian?
He's at the opposite end of the fortress. I thought you were going to walk in and deal with the hospitalers running the naval hospital.
Ah, yes. I shall do that. I'm strolling, staggering a little bit, I guess. No, that's not really staggering, I think would be a strong way of saying. A little bit more clumsy in my action. Duck under the doorway. And gauge around for any obvious staff.
You see 5 women dressed in the lay habits of the sororitas, obviously engaged to one of the temple or one of the hospitaller orders that is dispersed among the Imperial Navy. A surprised-looking woman runs up to you and immediately begins to examine your arm, noticing the damage. "You're lucky you didn't lose this," she says to you, looking up at you.
Oh, I know. I unfasten my helmet as the pressure shoots up. I take it off, face a little bit bashed up. But all the major damage, if there was any, is already starting to knit together. It looks to the small mortal, you could say. My neck is rather stiff. I should be fine for the most part, but I was wondering if there's anything you could give me. This is just me pretty much trying to scrounge an extra wind back. My comrades are up by the west gate. If there's anything you can do for any of us, that would be much appreciated. The night is young and our work is still fresh.
Don't think we have any of the facilities or machines required to tend to Astartes, especially if we're complex and advanced physiology, but I can lend you 2 medical servo skulls and whatever synth skin we can spare.
Ah, familiar. I did not expect much, in all honesty, but anything we can get that'll help the effort.
She clucks her tongue at you and looking at the rent and burnt parts of your armor and makes a comment that the seals still seem to be intact, but if you're going to get it off and take a look at the damage underneath, you're going to have to go to the vehicle bay and see the engine sears. She has no equipment for removing power armor, let alone damaged power armor.
Yeah, this is what I feared would happen. Well, it was a shot, and if we have time, I may very well do that. But for now, I think there's more pressing things to attend to.
Before you leave, she assigns the 2 servo skulls to you and presses some synth skin and other containers into your hands.
You may wish to prepare an area for medical attention en masse this evening. Oh, I forget, it was dawning, wasn't it? When we got here.
Yeah, the sun was coming up.
Well, it shall be a bloody morning then. You may need a larger space.
Well, we might just have the whole day, to be honest. It makes sense for them to charge in that nightfall.
This is true. Well, ideally we'd like to engage them during the day, so... We'll see how fast we can get ourselves set up and dug in. A preemptive strike may cause useful.
That is if we can do it without stumbling about and making too much noise.
Tharos gives a small nod to the medical staff and ducks back out the door and starts heading back up to the rest of the group, opening his Vox.
The servo skulls float lazily behind you as they follow you.
There's not much here, cousins. We have 2 medical servo skulls as familiar, but other than that, sad news from this front. We should find the Castilian as fast as we can. What news have you?
We have grand news, but this is news you should see rather than hear. Finish your business and come forth.
I'm already en route back.
That's what that bolter looks like, by the way.
Now this is the weapon of a munchkin. Any son of a bitch trying to make any fucking battle decisive, easy, and unmeasurable. This is it.
It's got almost the same pin as a crack missile.
It's fucking nuts.
That opens us a lot more options. I was worried that we're going to have to use something like an Alpha Strike from Arvek to try and take care of the war boss. But depending on how we managed to lure him out, because we had to get through a horde, and if we didn't have the firepower to crack the horde, we'd have to try and Alpha Strike and snipe the war boss. But this opens a lot more options for sniping at the war boss during specific situations.
Or it's a bunch of false hope, and these are just fancy tools to prevent.
No hope is false.
Alright.
The hope exists. It's the cause of the hope that is false. The result? Cause doesn't sound right. Doesn't make sense.
Are there any basilisks here
Ah, yeah. What
in
vehicles
the
do we
depot?
have? 'Cause there's got a vehicle depot here. What vehicles do they have stocked in the? I guess we'll find out when we get to the Castilian.
Castian and I can figure that out. I mean, we already found these items, and you're still supposed to be finding someone to take command from.
Oh no, he's on the other side. That's where we're going to be heading next. I was going to check the Medibay first. I got 2 Medi servo skulls. And apparently the Castilian.
Do you guys want to make your medical rolls, by the way?
Oh, sure.
Oh, with the servo things, yeah. What do we
When you guys get together, I assumed you all met back up by the chimeras.
Yeah, the west side.
Alright, just roll me D100s if you're making medical rolls.
Oh, this can backfire.
I'm not hurt, so I don't need to roll.
Just 4 more minutes from you, Havel, and I'll start to feel bad about taking your time.
It's alright. I'll checking everyone's gear sheet.
Okay,
Ice, what's your intelligence?
My intelligence is 50.
Alright. Saint gets 5 back. Let me get. Bad, I'm not using you guys. I'm not using you guys' names.
It gets easier after a while.
Radagast gets 8 back.
Well,
Averick gets 4.
So that's why my character's last name is Fellhammer. So you could use either one and it works.
you're cheating.
You said I got 5 back.
Yep.
Back up to 16, motherfucker!
Good shit, good shit.
So you start making your way towards the fortress.
Yeah. Keep an eye our eyes out on the vehicles that are available around us.
As we set off, we can ask the Overseer to bring the Chimeras inward a little bit, so midway between the walls and the fortress.
Perhaps we should actually pull the armaments from the Chimeras before we take off? Something,
Yeah.
anything?
Well, ideally we'd like to put as much of our ammunition at the moment to the central fortress, so I guess we can get the Chimeras to escort us to the central fortress, and we'll stockpile everything there, so we don't risk losing anything in some random act of bullshit.
Fair enough.
And then we can think about what we're going to do with our penal legions, but once we get to the central fortress, hopefully we'll get a better scope of
Oh yeah. That's what I was trying to figure out earlier though. What are their current commands? Because after we kind of got in here, they're just kind of marching about, I figure.
Yeah, they're all standing pretty much in formation, waiting for orders.
Well, you can have that conversation with the Overseer now, right, I guess tell him to escort us to the central fort and move with us.
Lucian!
So,
What are the troops doing? What are you doing?
waiting your commands, sir.
Give us a ceremonial escort to their command post, if you please. I want troops at the side of the streets. It'll be nice.
He turns about and waves at his men and starts barking orders. They line up on either side of the Chimera at a poor semblance of marching columns.
It is fitting in these dark times. I still like it. And it'll keep them busy. Theros. Are we heading off?
I believe it's about that time.
As you make your way towards the fortress in the back, heading down the wide open space in the middle of the fort, counting at least 6 of the large 20-meter wide circles marking Promethean tanks buried underground, you notice 2 Colossus tanks, large ordnance tanks, moving about, heading to different sections of the wall. You can see 4 Hydra batteries, 1 at each corner of the wall. And what appear to be hellhounds undergoing some maintenance. You can't tell how many are in the bay, but there are 2 up off of their tracks currently being worked on, and you can see 2 more bays.
Sorry, what was being worked on?
2 hellhounds being worked on
Hellhounds.
in the vehicle bays of the front of the vehicle depot, and there are 2 more bays that are closed.
Okay.
Roll
So we got a decent amount of flame.
Yep. Roll a perception. I guess it would be perception if you guys would.
I
And
passed
all right.
just.
Anyone else?
I poked myself in the eye.
Casting rolled a 99.
Cassian rolls some dirt from the road off of his eye lenses. Ice is asleep at his keyboard.
He's knocked out. I rolled my actual perception.
Arbex in prayer in the back of the Chimera.
He's in. He's in the Chimera, face down. Poor bastard.
So you both passed then?
I don't know if I'm supposed to roll under it.
Yeah, just roll under it. I guess that would be better. It's always better, right?
He's rolled exactly on his number.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's a pass.
6 to 1, half a dozen to the other. All right, both you. Can you roll Knowledge Imperium for me? That would be intelligence.
Do you need me to roll? I passed my perception, but do you need me to roll?
Right. So you've seen the object that you're now going to deliberate on.
Okay, so you're talking to me and Hojo, not Hojo and Kat.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm rolling on intelligence. I rolled a 7 of 100, so I definitely
I'm
passed.
pretty sure I failed without modifiers.
It was my inner snob came out and I started to pick out details everywhere.
Oh yeah, we do have common lore in the Imperium. Holy shit.
One of the towers at the eastern gate looks very suspicious to you, Saint.
Suspicious how?
It looks like an Imperial war machine that's been taken off of its tracks.
Interesting.
What?
It stands over. It overshadows the other gate. The other tower is set into the gate, and it's only just under the size of the Fortress of Redemption. You've all noticed it, but only one of you has picked out the frame of what is an Imperial Leviathan that has been worked into the framework of this fortress wall.
Huh.
I love
And
the details now.
Because you have rolled so well, I'll just put this up. A really large gun.
Those from Epic.
Yeah, they still use them in Apocalypse sometimes.
Titan killers.
That eastern wall, cousin, seems very expensive and out of place. I think every minute that passes, it just becomes more and more pressing that we talk to the Castilian.
Yeah, but that wall, we gotta.
Yeah, it's a very impressive fucking wall. Now, I can't guarantee it, but chances are the orcs will be attacking from the north. If that's the south. If they push through that in the south, I don't think there's anything
East.
we could do. I thought it was in the south. Oh yeah, east, sorry, yeah.
Guarding the eastern gate.
If they manage to push through that in the east, I don't think there's any kind of defense we can mount to stop the horde.
The wall seems to be at the middle of it, where the middle turrets would have been. The middle spawns and turrets. The back turrets have been removed, and you don't know the condition of the front of the vehicle. But it definitely was once a revered engine of the Imperial War Machine.
Okay, so it might not even be functional. Okay.
Well, the parts had to go somewhere. Everything had to go somewhere.
It might already be lost to the war effort.
You can see the Vanquisher turret on top of it still traversing, though.
Well, that's not bad.
That's some good news at least. Theros pushes on ahead.
Civilian skulls behind him.
These,
I still don't see any wall.
huh?
Did you just say it was a neat wall?
I said I still don't see any wall.
Well, that's been worked into part of the wall.
The wall.
There's my 99.
Yeah.
Don't
I
worry
see, yeah.
about it, cousin. I'm sorry, continue, please.
As you approach the Redemption Pattern Fortress, sticking up on the interior of the wall, with its identifiable shape.
It's not very impressive shape.
No, but it's functional.
Yeah.
You hear a siren go off and launch warning.
By the Emperor. We need a moment's respite.
That's what Fellhammer sees.
Had a fucking thumb?
The thumb rubbing the dirt off of his helmet.
Either that or there's an insect lag stuck on my what do you call it? The fucking eyepiece. And it's automatically focusing in on the insect lag, so I can't observe my surroundings.
Out of the buttress, the buttress fortress side closest to you, what appears to be a Death Strike missile launches into the atmosphere to whatever location it's been called down on. The standard pattern fortress comes equipped with 7 Death Strikes. You don't know how many are remaining.
Quick, cousins, they're spending our ammunition.
It's a
To give us
significant
more
payload.
time.
One of these may secure the entire mission. And from
And
that,
one
the
of
planet.
these is lost.
And how far away are we from this fortress?
You're about halfway there. You make it there in short order with no other significant events occurring. Imperial personnel busily running around the tops of the parapet of the fortress that has been partially worked into the wall on the adjoining side through covered walkways. Notice you're coming, and one rushes to greet you. Thank the Emperor, my lords. The Castilian is this way. He leads you up the steps.
Theros quietly followed, keeping an eye out for anything of immediate importance, I guess.
Grabbing Arvek by the foot, dragging him off of the Chimera. Radagast follows behind.
Finally getting his lens cleaned, Castilian also follows.
Oh, nice. Ice really is knocked out.
Yeah.
Ice. Yeah?
You
Why do you
awake?
call yourself Ice? I gotta know.
What? Like, why do I use Let's Go?
Tell me tomorrow.
Old motherfucker.
You fell asleep, didn't you?
I'm kind of out of it. I didn't get very good sleep last night, and I'm just out of it. Did I miss something important?
No.
Should I throw you back in the Chimera?
No. I mean, I'll just take a nap.
Guys. Are you guys able to do this tomorrow?
I will.
Tomorrow afternoon? Even if a couple of you can do it, if you trust the others to set up the fortress defense, because that's what's going to happen now. Who knows how long that's going to take. I have a class in the morning, and it sounds like you're all tired.
I don't think I'll be able to tomorrow.
Same. I don't know.
I think I gotta go.
Let's talk to the Castilian and then call it there.
10 minutes.
As
at
you
most.
make your way into the fortress and are led up a series of stairs into what appears to be a command room, you can hear the servitors clacking and whirring away at whatever lecterns they're wired to, and Imperial Vox transmissions coming in and being relayed. You see one Imperial technician standing over an aspect, marking down something on the lectern as they twist the knobs and dials, trying to focus on a particular area. The technician turns towards a well-dressed man who must be the Castilian based on the rank insignias and sashes, belts woven around his coat, and says the Death Strike missile has hit the Gargancer.
Motherfucker.
Oh boy.
Motherfucker.
That was a good use of muted.
Coming into the room. Here, scans the room, the surroundings quickly. Castilian, we've come to lend our aid to this war effort. I heard you mention a gargantuan. That's inconvenient.
Castilian turns around with a cup of recaf in his hand. Crap Titans. Emperor preserve us, I pray it's the only one they have. This orc horde isn't even large enough, according to the records, to field anything like that.
They must have an abundance of magpies.
It was a lucky catch, if anything.
They seem to like their loot. How much have they raided of this planet so far? I understand there's a push coming from friendly forces in the south. They would have had to have gained quite a lot of materials.
The orcs only made planetfall here recently. We've been holding them off for the past 4 days, as you know. For what I have been told, we are their only objective. They've engaged minimally with the Tyranids. The main swarm seems to be content to harass our forces further southeast of here.
And have you noticed any mutations in the wildlife in the proximity nearby the fortress?
I haven't checked the shrubbery, and there's not much around. But no, that doesn't mean that the Tyranids aren't here, though. We have seen some wars, and we know that the orcs have been engaging them, like I said. Nothing significant. Some of them have taken trophies and stuck them on their ramshackle vehicles.
How is the gargantuan at the moment, and how far away is it from this position?
Appears to be knocked out, taking its way from where the orcs originally dropped on the planet, about 10 kilometers north of here.
What sort of information do you have on the horde itself? You must have some kind of form of observing them.
He shrugs. Can't really tell one orc from another, but they only seem to be interested in loot. They actually tried to talk. It's the first time I've ever heard of an orc doing that. Though, if you could really call it gothic.
They spoke to you in low.
They jabbered at us in loudspeakers. I assume they're going to do it again today.
That is quite troublesome if they can speak our language.
How long have you been under siege? And how often do they attack?
He said 4 days.
4 days in direct siege, but we've known about the plan of orc attack through the auspices of the Inquisition.
And
That's
how
why
frequently
you were
do they
sent.
attack? As in, do they attack at set times, or you say they speak to you through loudspeakers daily? Does this come before or after attack, or do they wait until nightfall?
They made 2 pushes at the wall in the last 4 days. They haven't managed to get past our guns yet, within the range of our smaller guns. But we know the Tyranids are pushing along this line, and it's only a matter of time before they make contact with the orcs. I'm not sure what the orcs want out of this base, but they want it bad enough to offer us some kind of truce.
Some kind of truce.
Basically,
They want to live.
leave the loot and walk away.
Ah,
It's a simple trick. They're not stupid. They know about the Tyranids and they want to live.
He looks at Radagast and nods.
how far away is the Tyranid line from the orc forces? What's
Their
the
skirmishing
easy-
parties are running into the orcs now. Small bands and groups. I'm surprised you didn't see any on the way.
Likewise.
We were lucky.
And do you have any information on the Tyranid post itself, the nearby, or are you in the dark as we are?
Haven't received any word as of yet as far as the composition. No, none of the larger brood beasts have been spotted. No carnifexes or anything of that nature yet. The large warriors and brood lords. But none of their more advanced bioforms.
Theros turns around to address the rest of the group. I mean to make questions about the armament of this fortress. Is there anything else any of you would like to ask about the surroundings and the enemy at this point?
Have they found a way to the or boss?
Yeah, does he know about the boss?
He nods.
What can you tell us of the boss?
What, are you telling me?
No.
Go
They're
back to
asking
sleep,
questions.
Arvin.
Oh, I heard ice.
I think I heard asking.
Shit.
Yeah, he heard us. We're not speaking in comms.
Yeah, we're just basically asking the Castellan about the surroundings and the orcs and the Tyranids.
looks.
Go ahead.
He looks to a lectern and sorts through a pile of data slates until he snatches the correct one and clears his throat. The war boss calls himself Captain Smigag Rexnaga, he says in a attempt to pronounce the Orcish name.
I love it.
And he has demanded that we leave the loot and walk away. Saying that no pathetic puny humies need to die.
He's a captain. I assume he has a ship. Why does he not just leave? Could it be he's afraid of the battle overhead?
He just came here.
Yeah, he was paid to come here by the Tau, you know that. This is out of character, things that you know.
Right.
And you know that his ship is adorned with the skull plates of Tyranid, what are those razor craft called? Razor Fiend, the brain plates from Razor Fiend's smaller Tyranid ships.
Oh shit.
One of the reasons why the Inquisition is concerned about orc infection, to say the least. They don't need orc pirates roaming the sector spreading brood swarms. Gene stealer broods.
Sorry, refresh my memory. The Tau paid these fuckers to come here to fuck with us.
Yep.
And apparently they had to do it at this planet. That's what they were paid for. And the way they're doing it is by landing on planet side and trying to take this bunker so they could establish a foothold here.
No, so the orcs, the Tau basically are right. You got part right. The Tau are paying the orcs to smash up this base and loot whatever they can out of it, and the Tau gave them a bunch of shit to do it. Even with the threat of the Tyranid, in order to break the Imperial lines and make the Imperials have to commit more manpower to holding this planet and sector, or forfeit the fight here.
That's where we come in.
Right.
You have to keep right. We in the briefing in the first mission, Fellhammer also wasn't here for this, so it's good to recap. You know that the Orc-Wa in the area that was being run by Throttle Claw, another Deathwatch team went in and assassinated him and dispersed his Wa by taking out any orc that kind of showed any signs of leadership and authority among the greater parts of his Wa. And as it broke up, orc raiders and stuff went off and did their own things, and Smigag has managed to take a small fleet with him and whatever goodies like that Gargant he could snag from the larger Wa as he left to find his own fortune.
It's an orc splinter fleet.
Do we have any rough estimate on the orc numbers on planet?
No, in the group that harried the down craft, you could see roughly around 200 when you did that check last playthrough. But you know that there's a larger horde. You could see at least 50 or so vehicles just where you were on that side of the base, like speeding towards you as they try to chase you into the fortress.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions about the surroundings and the enemy at large?
Does the orc war boss hang with any particular group of orcs or vehicles that you have been able to see?
Ah, nice thought, Castellan. Or Castian. What sort of orcs have you been having to deal with thus far? On top of Castian's question.
We've had orc infiltrators try to sneak in between
Commandos.
the larger fights, but mostly it's just been the smaller variant of standard orc soldier with an axe and a gun. We have seen more mechanized orcs, but they haven't gotten within range of the larger guns. They've been content to lob their own shells back at us. A lot of trucks have been blown up in the last couple of days.
Commandos, knobs, and boys. That's an entourage right there.
I guess we get on to the most important matter of hand, of taking our itinerary. Unless anyone has any more questions.
We need to identify a way of discovering where the orc war boss is so that we can strike out at him.
I fear unless an opportunity approaches itself, or we create enough noise, figuratively, to get his attention, then otherwise he'll come to us soon enough. Ideally, if we could get a strikeout on him, that would be ideal, but that really just falls on fortune and the Emperor's will, whether or not we'll find out where he is.
I was wondering, if the orcs want us to leave, could we not just rig the city to explode and leave? Let them come in and just blow up the city.
And give up this holy of ground?
The
The
fortification will be needed to rebuttal the attack of friendly forces. That will be coming soon.
Yeah, the only reason why the Imperial Army had to pull back is because with the orc siege on this base, there was no way to resupply the tanks or vehicles with promethium or ammunition.
If we kill the war boss, it should be enough to scatter the rest of the orcs, enough for the Imperial forces to clean up without too much work.
The Imperial Army and War Machine can't afford to lose the mined materials from this planet, and the army on this planet can't afford to lose the supply depot in this sector.
It would be an instant leave anyway.
On to the questions at hand. How many, was it Hellfire missiles I saw you firing off here, Castilian, when we came in?
Deathstrike.
Deathstrike, of course. How many of those do you have remaining?
One.
The
others were called in on the Tyranid Horde originally when the larger command beasts were spotted.
I see. And you say this gargantuan appears to be down at the moment?
Yes.
How badly damaged? Do you think they'll be able to get it back up and running?
It's hard to say. We only have their reading on the aspects.
I understand. Tell me of the walls here. How secure are they? Our assault friend here saw a little bit of shaking up on one of the walls on the west side.
A damaged gun of some kind.
And then, of course, there's something very interesting up with your wall on the east side. So on top of those two, I'm afraid I'm about to ask you for an entire itinerary of the fort, all your major emplacements and what you have left. The fort seems to be in working enough order to hold the line at the moment, but appearances can be deceiving.
Yeah, the downed gun emplacement on the north wall was taken out by the orc commandos, or the orc infiltrators in their raid.
On the north wall.
The walls are 40 meters thick ferro concrete, slightly sloped on the front to deny enemies cover, but this isn't meant to hold out in long situations. This was just meant to resupply the army and most of the fortification. As far as the bunkers inside the wall and things like that, and some of the lighter gun emplacements like the hydras and the autocannons manned by Imperial Guardsmen have just been set up now.
And are your walls structurally sound?
Yeah, they have not been breached. The walls
Okay.
have not been compromised yet.
So the weakest part of your walls is the north. In regards to the east side of the wall, I'm sure you know what I'm referring to. Is that only on the east, or do you have novelties in other areas of your wall?
Now, the depot was originally built around, I assume you're referring to the Leviathan Indomitable,
Indeed.
which was crippled on this planet long ago. It's not often that you see such machines in the field anymore.
It's sad that it no longer moves freely to exact the Emperor's will. What of vehicles? We saw some in our entrance here, but with a vehicle bay here, surely you have more than just a few. Do you have anything left inside the walls? And further than that, do you have anything at the moment on patrol at all anywhere outside of the walls?
We have nothing outside the walls. It still lives. Part of the supplies that you resupply, as I'm sure you well know, is foodstuffs in the form of Grox powder and some recaf powder for the troops and stims.
So you only have 2 vehicles?
We have the 2 Hellhounds, which are currently being worked on, and we have 2 Ragnarok pattern tanks, as well as, I'm sure you saw, the Colossus pattern siege engines, which are currently being moved about to try to hit the orcs whenever they make a push on either side of the wall. The Ragnarok aren't much use inside the walls, but they'll be ready for whenever a breach is made.
So just as a sum, we have Ragnarok. You have 2 siege engines. What were the 2 siege engines?
The 2 siege engines are Colossus siege engines.
Two Hellhounds. I know the name, but I can't visualize a Hellhound at the moment.
A Hellhound,
It's a Chimera with a flame turret.
and that's a Ragnarok pattern, Layman Ross.
And you say there was 2 of those, the Ragnaroks.
Yeah. They have thicker armor than a standard pattern. That's their only advantage.
5 Chimeras. Let's see. And do you have any access to air support and any communications with the friendly forces further south of here?
No. To answer your question simply, they really can't afford to operate. The supply chain is just too thin. Without this base being secure and the roads secure behind the lines, there's no way that you could supply a detachment of mechanized troops for more than whatever fuel they could bring with them. And I'm sure, as you know, Lord, you run into the problem very quickly of having vehicles to carry fuel for the other vehicles.
What of explosives? What manner of explosives do you have here?
Other than the ordnance for the vehicles?
Oh no, I mean demolition, satchel. And if you don't have any, how many could you make, however small they may be? The bigger the better, but I fear that we may all end up dying here in service to the Emperor. But hopefully it won't come to that, and for that we're going to need everything we can in order to keep this fortification standing. But if we do all die here, we will die together. Yet we are here, sent by the Inquisition to prevent that. Provided, of course, that you do work with us to the full extent.
Awesome.
He nods. He's not sure how many explosives are here. Last count, there were still 400 troops manning the walls.
So 400 total. So we have 2 Ragnaroks, 2 Colossus siege engines, 2 Hellhound, 5 Chimeras, 400 troops, and 126 Penal Battalion, not including the overseers and commanding structure.
Mm-hmm. And that also number doesn't include the command staff. You have maybe 50 more in terms of support and command, split up among the 400. Takes another sip of his recaf.
Hey,
4 Deathwatch Space Marines.
Hey, what magnitude are the Penal Battalions now? Well below half of their starting, no?
They're not below half of their starting number. You've lost 74 of 300.
Oh.
So they've lost. We've got 226. So we haven't lost that many Penal Battalion at all.
Okay.
In the scale of things, at least. That'll bring us to a total of 626 troop soldiers, if you will, and then 50-ish support command and support.
Okay.
We may need you to. How's your construction ability for armament? If we were to ask for large-scale explosives, what do you think you could get with us within the next few hours?
I'm really not sure. I'll have to consult with our supply officers and the tech priests in the engine bays.
I understand. Don't take too many people off of the required tasks, but we will need something, I imagine.
It is expected. This is a storage facility and not a forge.
I'm sure
They're
the bells
not used to those kind of things.
we will make pipe bombs if we have to, but I understand what you're saying.
Well, there is plenty of promethium.
There is.
It's very handy, and the orcs do fear fire.
Alright, you wanna call it there?
One last thing.
Does anyone else have any other questions about armaments and stockpiling?
Of that nature, no. Speaking in an inclusive channel to the rest of the squad, Theros, did you not want to take command of this fortress? Is that something you still wish to request?
I do, yes, but first I wish to talk to the Castilian and see what information we can get from him before propositioning the approach.
Yes. Just thought I'd know. Just thought you'd tell us.
If we have no more questions, I'll put forward the notion. Castian, Arvak, do you have any more questions for the Castilian?
I do not.
I wonder if Arvak will regain any wounds from sleeping.
Yes, I'm asleep.
Radagast gives a swift blow to the sleeping body of Arvet.
Tharos turns back to the Castilian. Castilian, I would ask that you follow out all the orders we've given so far, and henceforth, until we break this orc horde, or we die trying. Will you assume command to me and my team, so we fully ensure your safety and survival to the best of our ability, as the Emperor would protect?
Oh shit, he's rolling.
May I requisition your finest bed to sleep the siege out?
You will use the floor and you will like it. Or the
Okay.
I'm hoping that our leveling approach with him on the desperation and importance of everything has kind of warmed us to a little bit. That's also why I left it until the end, so we could kind of get some sincerity from us.
You guys can, like... I'll sleep in, like, the road or something. And then, like, you guys can put a bunch of grenades around me, so the orcs will be very confused why there's a space marine sleeping on the road. And when they get close, you can just blow up all the grenades. It's like...
I understand you, but why do you have to be in the middle of the road?
I don't know.
You just
That's
want
what-
to use to sleep.
Yeah, maybe.
Fucking salamanders.
I did crash into a gun.
Sounds like a Radagast plan.
Yeah, that's
Blow
Hey.
yourself up.
I planned to.
I don't
Strap
doubt
frag
that.
grenades to the jump pack troop, had him jump in the middle, set him off, and jump back.
Wait a minute. Can you overload jump packs and cause them to explode?
Nah.
Damn.
But you can't critically damage them. They just
Castilian.
won't work.
Castilian nods to himself. Is my lord will work as closely as possible with you. However, I can't relinquish full command of the fortress to you, but I can relinquish command of the vehicles, of my vehicle detachments.
And the Imperials guarding the walls?
I can spare about half the other, but none of my men can leave this fort.
None of your men would be leaving the fort.
I think that's a fair compromise.
If
Yeah,
anything,
it's
if
reasonable.
anything leaves this fort, it'll be only that which we brought with us this past evening. All that remains here will remain yourself, your vehicles, and if they are lost, they will either be in defense of the fortress or lost with the rest of us.
He nods very well then.
Excellent. Cousins, we prepare for war.
Let us go.
Arm ourselves. Get up, you blasted salamander!
I'm not
Just-
asleep.
Just so everyone is known, we will plan to try and barricade off the main two entrances towards the fortress. Ideally. Oh, actually, Castilian, one more thing. Apart from that sad case in the east wall, what's the shiniest thing you have in the fortress? And by that, of course, I mean the biggest, heaviest gun you have.
Would be the main ordinance on the Leviathan.
Apart from the Leviathan, of course.
That is the heaviest ordnance we have, my lord. I'm not even sure that this fortress contains any ammo for it. There's only one that's enshrined within the Leviathan.
One. Okay. Well, chances are, if the greenskins do breach the wall, if that's the heaviest armament you have, that will be their goal. There's nothing else in here that you can think of unless there's something you're not telling us. That'll be this fortress itself, or the Leviathan. They'll be the main two targets. Both may have to be rigged to blow on command. But hopefully it won't come to that. However, we know the north wall is weak, and we know the most valuable thing in here is in the east. That gives us an area of focus. Of course we'll have to cover everywhere, but it's a start, no?
Regardless.
I can't allow you to do that. I thought your orders were to secure this fortress.
They are, but this fortress will not be secure until that war boss is done.
I suggest you kill the war boss and stop planning to blow up this holy supply depot.
I'm not planning to blow it up at all, Castilian. I'm planning on making sure that if we fail our task, that it will not fall into the hands of the mutant and the greenskin. Sorry, alien and greenskin. Would you have these sacred holy artifacts fall into those alien hands? I will not see it done. And I will
Are you planning to fail, Space Marine?
I plan to fail? No.
And I suggest you stop talking about blowing up my depot. And he turns around and walks back over to the lectern.
Heresy.
Speaking into the inclusive channel. His goals are different from ours, cousin. Do not mind him. He does not understand our ways. He is okay with the Xeno living.
Cousin, if we fail, and I'm sure you're aware there is a very high chance that we cannot stop this horde unless a prime opportunity presents itself for us to take out this war boss. If we fail, we cannot let this fall into enemy hands.
We will not fail, but he may.
We shall have to think on this. What if we manage to get our defenses in order fast enough? We'll find a way to subvertently rig it to blow. That way, if we do have to fall back to the central fortress, we know where the war boss will go. They will deconstruct it before our eyes if we hold out for long enough, if we get that luxury.
Should all be lost, we can detonate the tanks that of Prometheum, and that should take care of the fortress, the entire fortress.
And that is where we will start.
I'll save a missile just in case.
Although a blow such as that will cripple the planet, or at least a certain area, in terms of our military prowess, or the use of vehicles.
Let me just remind you that you know that if this depot goes down, this sector is lost and potentially this planet.
We don't by any means plan to fail. It's more just damage control. Like
plan to not do your job, blow up the fort.
It's not planning to not do your job. It's planning to know that it might go tits up. Like it has very much done getting here.
Like I figure it's the long game, because if they have this, then they'll have a head start and kind of put their footing down in the sector.
Yeah, if we lose this fort and they take it and tear apart that Leviathan to make another gargantuan, like we'll lose the entire planet. By the sounds of it, at least.
But if we blow up everyone and then leave and then come back, at least we'll be at ground zero and
It would be
Get to start over.
Yeah, it would be a scorched earth approach, and it would be absolutely last case scenario when all is lost. And it would literally only be for the reason of our characters' names not being completely dishonored. Like, they died and they failed, but at least they didn't let the mighty war machine of the Imperium fall into orc hands. But again, this is not planning, this is more just, we have a duty, we have a mission, and it will be completed. And if we have to blow up the Leviathan in order to kill the war boss, we'll do it, but hopefully we won't have to do it.
By the way, the shell that the cannon fires is about the size of a Land Raider.
Just shoot that at the war boss.
But see if you can play catch.
Have one shell enshrined within the Leviathan.
I have a plan.
Oh dear.
Oh boy.
What's the blast radius on that, by the way?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, okay.
Just don't be close to it.
Quick, point blank it.
Oh, well, I'll leave the plan for the next time, but we might be a little bit closer than we'd like to be to that shell, gentlemen.
Well, Hojo will be right at home with that strategy.
Blow my ass up. I'll pull the trigger. I'll do it all. I'll do it all, baby.
If you were a tanker, you just point the gun straight at the ground and fire.
Yeah, just put a tracker on him and let the death strike track him.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
War boss.
Put me in the barrel, and I'll punch the shell in the appropriate direction once we're in the air.
Just put it this way: it is one of those guns is like is a gun that they would put on a ship in space. So it's the size of a macro cannon. So
It can
there
take
are
out an Imperial Titan.
yeah, it takes out void faring ships.
That's ridiculous. That's overkill. Built into the wall.
Hey man, once you can't move shit in the Imperium, you can't just leave it.
I get you, but it's like a wall decorator for this band.